Welcome to a Halloween special one-shot. Backwater is a tabletop game created by Alex and Asa. You can find their page over at Backwater TTRPG on Twitter. It is an original system in the style of Southern Gothic Horror, and it is set in the deep south of a post-apocalyptic America. And there are some other regional American-gothic horror expansions in the works as well. Today I am running a scenario called Jack's Rebellion, one that I've written with the help of Alex, and this is a commissioned showcase, so we're going to do our best to show you the ins and outs of how the system works, and we're going to show off as much of these wonderful characters as we can. I will remind you, this is a carry game. Content warnings can be found in the video description. We are giving away one copy of the game. It'll be a physical copy, and you get the PDF copy to go along with it. So, whichever one you prefer. We are giving away one copy. We are giving away 2 Lantern Jack bracelets that are wonderful. Look at those. They're just so good.
Bring them with you everywhere.
And we are giving away 2 keychains that are just freaking gorgeous and wonderful, and I love them, and I'm not biased at all. The bracelets and keychains were made by my partner at Birdie's Art Nest on Twitter. If you would like to enter the giveaway, future me will be in the chat telling you how to do that. So pop into live chat and enter to win all of those cool things. Now, it's time for me to shut up for a minute and let these wonderfully fantastic people introduce themselves and tell us about the characters that they're playing today.
Hi, I'm Allegra. My pronouns are they, them. I am playing Delilah or Lila Ord. Pronouns she, they. And she is a seer. And seers have magic or psychic abilities that they usually use to help or hurt people, like you do when you have magic. In this setting, they're generally kind of feared or ostracized, but they're also they have their uses to people in the world. And that's definitely something Lila is leaning into for her own ends.
Well, I'm Zach. My pronouns are she, they, and I will be playing Kadira Deer Dixon today. She's a seeker, which is if I give away the weapon, I feel like it'll give away a lot more. So she's got great eyes.
Hi, I'm Candace. My pronouns are they, she. I am playing Lenora Beauchamp. She has she, her pronouns. She's a warden who is a savant, kind of a jack, a jack of all trades, I'd say. And she likes to have a good time. Mm-hmm.
Good time. Hello. I'm apparently the least vigilant of everyone. I am Adam Sowards, he, him, and I'm playing Ezekiel Martin Washington today. He is a slayer archetype, which is basically kind of like the soldier type person, melee or ranged combat type of beat 'em up sort of boy.
Our scene opens in a ballroom. The city's elite upper class are in the midst of a masquerade ball on the anniversary of Jack's Rebellion. The ballroom is well lit and decorated with portraits framed in silver, gold, and brass. Adorned with exquisite attire and masks, the elite mingle and share drinks and stories. But this story isn't about the elite. It's about the wardens who guard them. Hired on as private guards of sorts, these wardens find themselves dressed in clothes better than they've ever owned. Given to them specifically for this party, masks across their eyes as well. Players, please describe your characters to us. Who do we see before us? What are their names? What are they wearing? How do they look? And are they clearly uncomfortable in the fancy clothes, or are they more focused on other things at the moment?
Lila is 5'2". You would describe her as delicate. Others would describe her as scrawny. Person in her early to mid 20s. She's got long red hair that's kind of like in a half up situation, but like flowing over her shoulders. She's wearing a pink flowing dress under a gossamer blue chiffon kind of shrug thing. It's got her dress has a lot of pleats, but were you to look beyond the pleats, you would notice that they are masking tons and tons and tons of pockets, stuffed with all manner of items, maybe not befitting of an elite ball, but something important to her. Her eyes are probably as close to purple as a human person's eyes can get, without being actually purple. She's got freckles all over her face. She's got her arm kind of looped through Deer's arm. And she's got obviously there's a physical mask, but underneath that is a mask of competence and confidence and poise that she may not entirely feel, but it's a fake it till you make it situation, and it's starting to make it.
Kadira is dressed in colors that are maybe a little bit louder than what other people are wearing. I think it's a lot of like red and gold. It's still this like beautiful, expensive dress, but there's something about the way the skirt comes together in the front that's like, is this tearaway? And they have these like beautiful gold like pieces of jewelry. Some of them are incredibly traditional, like almost like a brooch piece that's just so big and ornate, and like these dangling earrings, but then there's like a gold brace that like snakes around both arms, and that doesn't really match what's happening on the face. The makeup is way too loud, just inappropriate. And they have their hair slicked all the way back into two ponytails.
Browsing kind of the top gallery of the party, there is a woman who appears to be in her late 30s, early 40s. She looks authoritative. That's why you can kind of tell her age, not so much for any wrinkles or troubles on her face. She has deep brown skin, hazel eyes, and very thick, kind of kinky, curly hair that spills out from underneath a large, kind of fancy-ish looking top hat that's been embellished and decorated. She has on kind of like a plaid like blouse underneath, a little waistcoat, like a golden velvety waistcoat that matches the gold of her mask. And she's wearing like the waistcoat kind of flares out around her hips, and then underneath she has a very close-fitting kind of mermaid tailed short like skirt up to the knee with riding boots underneath that are like a nice polished leather, brown leather. She carries herself with a lot of poise, but every once in a while kind of stumbles a little bit, like she's a little tipsy. And nevertheless, she's kind of not seen without a glass of champagne or something that one of these people is kind of bringing around on various trays and things. She's always kind of plucking those off to keep herself hydrated during this event. She seems very at ease in the finery. It's clear that what she can probably afford is not as lavish, but she wears it like a second skin.
Yes. You see, probably near like stairs or a pillar or like a doorway, trying to stay out of the way, you see Ezekiel Martin Washington, who's a 6'2", big barrel-chested man who's he looks sort of like a rugby player, very, very thick man, and he's dressed, even though he's dressed in a sort of like colonial revolutionary type of garb, It looks like this is his normal clothes, but it's like a dark blue all over with like the tailcoats and like the heeled shoes and like the long socks and stuff. But there's like a lot of tears and stuff that have been like sewn up and things. And he has a sort of like Rough Rider sort of Roosevelt style hat on with a powdered wig underneath that has seen a lot of use. He has an Abraham Lincoln style beard with no mustache, and they are there to protect people, so he does have a bandolier of shotgun shells around. He has a double-barreled shotgun on his back that has a bayonet and a very well-used woodcutter axe. He looks very, very serious, but he has kind eyes. He's not a handsome man. It seems late 20s, a bunch of use in sort of battle. But he looks very uncomfortable, even though he's standing very straight at the back and is sort of trying to strike up conversations with folks to feel a little bit more at ease. Just like, yes, 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 I follow the way of the forefathers. Yes, that is what I do. Oh, you don't? And they just walk away. So that is what he is doing.
Yeah, the more elite members don't even stop to talk. They know your status, they know what you're here for, and you're a part of the pillar to them. The person that you have been hired to guard, specifically, Reginald Nash, and he is 3 drinks into the evening and talking loudly with a few of his most prestigious companions that are gathered with him around the refreshments table. Of course they'll keep me protected. It's what they're being paid for. I don't know, Reginald. The rumors say the mobs are going after you tonight, specifically. Rumors have said that before. Turns out, stopping an uprising with violence has some drawbacks, sure, but Jack's lanterns won't touch me. I've hired a few of the very best for the evening, and kind of lost track of where a lot of you are, and kind of motions out, probably looks at a couple of you, but doesn't recognize you because he didn't even really care what you looked like before. A few of them kind of look over from beyond their flamboyant, vibrant masquerade masks. Regardless of your perspective heights, you can tell they're looking down at you. But they've always stared down their noses at you. They're all the same, but Nash was right. These are the jobs you're paid for. And you are a few of the best. They carry on in further conversation, leaving the 4 of you back in your own silences, wherever you may be. What would you like to do?
I'd like to eavesdrop. I want to kind of take a look and pay attention to who is noticing Mr. Nash, like who's watching him, and then kind of swagger over there nonchalantly and just listen.
Okay. What is everyone else wanting to do?
I would say Martin would probably go and strike up a conversation with the other wardens that are here to protect this said person. Just to sort of like kind of assess who they are and see if they indeed as well follow the way of the forefathers.
The way of the forefathers?
Yes. Ezekiel Martin Washington sticks out his hand.
You've said it 4 times now, but all right.
Yes. Small one. Yes, I'm from the Heartlands ward, just quite a while a ways away, but I follow the way of the forefathers, which is the 4 founding fathers of the kingdom before the fall. It is Washington, Lincoln, Roosevelt, and Jefferson. We sort of exemplify the principles that they brought forward. Truth, wisdom, tenacity, and musicality. It is something that we, those that follow the way of the forefathers, choose to behave. It is justice for all. So, I'm actually on a quest to find the Chalice of Providence. I believe it is somewhere here in the area. What is your quest?
Wow.
Crickets.
I look up
have
at
a
Deer.
quest?
I'm sorry, I've never met someone who immediately told me all of their goals so quickly.
Oh yes, it is. It is one of the beliefs of the way of the forefathers. Is,
The forefathers.
Again, honesty. One of the first. The truth, honesty. Yes.
Well, I don't necessarily have a quest other than to get paid. I suppose that's a form of a quest, in a way.
Yes, yes, yes.
Do you have a quest, Lila?
Oh, I'm planning on burning down my daddy's church legally.
Ah, and what sort of church does your daddy? Tell me more.
Well, he didn't take too kindly to my abilities.
Ah.
And
Abilities.
well, we've all got something, don't we? I don't look much like a fighter to you, do I?
Well, no, but I have been surprised many a times. Even the smallest, he sort of looks down at you. Even the smallest have surprising amount of strength. It is something I have learned in my time.
Well, I'm
They can-
happy to see you stricken misogyny from the way of the forefathers.
Oh, yes, of course. You see, things that happened before the fall, some people would like to forget them, but I think it is important to remember and to that fuels what we do going forward is to remember the past and use it, for we cannot repeat the past if we forget it. Can we not?
I think you said that in a way that made sense.
Yes. Indeed.
We're just gonna give it to you, I suppose.
Yeah.
Is there... Sorry, can I look around and see if there's... I want to know basically if I have to set up for my own act. Is there... Is there some sort of something already there? Like a piece of fabric from the ceiling, or like a hula hoop, or anything of that nature?
I would say yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. Then as she's talking, Deer is going to start just like securing herself in in the sheet. And I think while you've been talking, she's been just starting to do this. Yeah, so I'm here to pretty much just have like eye in the sky in a very literal way. But also just some sort of like ranged ability if needed. There's a cool thing you'll see later that I can do with I have a bow if you need it. But anyway,
Ah,
that's
a
me.
wonderful ability. I did not know such things could be done with this sort of curtains, or whatever they are. It is amazing.
She's
Thank
the best
you.
you'll ever see.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing it. That is the fourth tenet, the musicality, and more related to art and the creativity of the world. So I look forward to seeing what Father Jefferson has granted you.
Thank you. Well, I was honestly hoping that maybe if musicality meant maybe some sort of singing performance.
It is the tenet I have the least amount of experience in. He looks a bit uncomfortable. But I have a harmonica. Not very well versed in it, but I'm more of the protecting sort of warden or follower of the way of the forefathers. But I would not want to get in the way by any means.
Well, I'll say just look out for a cue. I've lost my previous performing partner to more serious business, as it seems.
Oh,
She says
very sorry.
jokingly towards Lila.
Oh, right. He does not understand.
He has no idea what you mean by that.
Of course, yes.
As Deer's wrapping herself up in the carpet, I'm gonna unloop my arm so she has both arms, and I'll go up on my little tiptoes and kiss her on the cheek and say, "Be safe, dear. And then I'm gonna wander away toward a window.
All right, and meanwhile,
Oh, no.
Lenora. Yeah, you're like,
I'm looking everywhere, but all I can hear is some man talking about forefathers and high goals. And he's trying to impress some very beautiful people down there, but also I'm trying to work and drink my champagne.
Yeah, and for the most part, what you hear of other people, no one seems any more interested in Reginald Nash than anyone else. Like, everyone, while everyone is this, like, all of the elite act like assholes. The way they look at you, like, they're like, I don't know, I don't know who I hired. I know I hired 4 people, but I could not tell you what they look like today. That's kind of the way they're all blending together, is this just boisterous, laughing, high, like, the amount of color you would have on you, multiply that by 12, and that's the amount of color that you see on everyone else. And it's just this haze. It's just this awful, awful haze. So you're being sure to keep your eyes on Reginald Nash, just to keep, like, track of him. And you do just hear that same kind of rumor over and over. Like, I hear they're after Nash tonight. It's not uncommon for the citizens that are dressed as Jack's lanterns to protect civilians from drunk nobles that wander out. You've never heard of these lanterns staging any sort of attack on a person before, but this seems to be very pointed, very direct. Jack's lanterns want Reginald Nash, and that's what you're gathering.
Okay. As I kind of weave my way through the crowd, just attempting to kind of pick up whatever I can, I see Lila walking toward the window, and I kind of intercept her and kind of like offer my arm to them as we kind of go to the window. Having a good night, Chef?
Not too bad. How about you, hon?
I don't know. I'm having a hard time finding anyone in this crowd that might be trying to do something. I'm looking to see who among these number might be an enemy of our gracious host. But I think him just a boastful brute who thinks far more of himself than anyone else does.
I had the same inclination. I thought if any threats were coming, they'd be from the outside rather than internal.
None of these people seem bothered. Do they? Do you see any malcontent or just brainless wastes of time?
I think the malcontent comes from being brainless waste of time.
You
They
have a
have
point.
no interest in anything happening in the world, in actuality, and only want to have their parties and sip their champagne. No offense.
None taken. Liking champagne is not a crime. It's being able to afford so much of it that you lose yourself. Disgusting. You see,
I
she
don't
kind of
think
like
I've
cuts her
tried.
eyes at the crowd.
Can I try yours?
Please.
All right. I'll take it and take a little sip. And this is the first time Lila's had alcohol. So the bubbles shock her, and she tries really hard to school her features into like a normal reaction, but it that was good.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing.
It can be an acquired taste, but
I've
you'll get
acquired
there.
it. It's delicious.
Good.
Lenora, as you're taking that glass back, basically I would like to visit why each of you took this job. So as you're taking that glass back, kind of thinking of the job that you're hired for, where does your mind go?
My mind goes to the like I take the glass of champagne and like if it were a movie, the person handing me the champagne would suddenly be one of two really attractive young women in a bed that's like covered in silks, and it's like clearly not a room that I look like I belong in. Like I'm wearing like okay-ish clothes, but it's like a fancy room that's all candlelit and stuff. And like I'm in like my same top hat, blouse undone, like bosom underneath kind of spilling out, looking at these ladies. A gentleman comes in, this like life of lavishness, and like I throw, coins onto the bed, like, I'm like a baller or something. Lenora has a taste for beautiful things, that unfortunately a regular job would not suffice uh to keep her happy. So this is why she is a warden, and being around these people is just like a really harsh reminder of how much she doesn't have and how much better she would be if she had it.
The chatter around you, it's almost like white noise. Like you're able to drown it out. This isn't your first time at, not maybe this event in particular, but this isn't your first time around a bunch of nobles that don't stop talking, don't stop laughing, don't stop looking down their noses at you.
Lenora?
Yes, sir. I'm so sorry. I was miles away.
Yeah, you went somewhere for a minute, hon.
Hmm.
Well, I don't know what we're supposed to do for this fucker. He's just asking us to be here in case some folks come and, in my opinion, rightfully gank his ass.
Yes, honestly, that's it. He just wants to keep his riches. That's it. That's all he wants. And honestly, I don't blame him. But at the same time, do you ever have just the hardest time giving even one fuck?
So constantly, so consistently, all the time, almost all the jobs I take. Yes.
Yes. I confess it wouldn't be my first accident should he not make it out alive, but it's not always easy with that hanging over your head, and you are young. I wouldn't want you having to deal with that.
Well, what if we had a little fun while we were here?
What do you have in mind? And does your beautiful companion know?
No, dear. Dear is going to be focusing on other things. She'll be up in the sky, but I'll make sure I find some things for her. My idea was to maybe rehome some of his lavish products, lavish possessions. I've got plenty of pockets. Yes, dear.
At the mention of theft, can deer appear?
Yes.
You know what? Yeah.
Excellent.
That's
Because
a mention of theft.
I made her stealthy, so when you talk about stealing, she literally, I mean, skirt and all, manifests between you two. I'm sorry, it sounded like we had some common goals.
Oh,
There.
we were just talking about you, Lenora. And I hold out my hand to kind of beckon you to give me yours.
Deer takes your hand, flips it, and kisses it.
Yes. My.
You can call me Deer.
Oh, I will. Dear. So, our lovely Lila was just telling us all about, some alternative plans.
Well, I was gonna pick up some for you, hon, but given that you've found your way back to us, as I had a suspicion you might, maybe make it a bit of an interesting competition. I got pockets. Lenora's got her hat. I've known you to hide things in plain sight.
Yes, I'm not a big fan of these kinds of skirts, but they do provide storage when you need
I
it.
know it.
The
Just a friendly
gentleman.
competition.
The gentleman, however, would he be wanting to indulge in such a championship?
If we say the founding fathers did it, he might.
Yeah.
What, say the founding fathers used to steal?
I mean,
Exactly.
they did, so
In times like this, when we're faced with limits, it's important to remember that anything is possible. And if we, instead of steal from one person, steal from two, somebody with a strong identity, and maybe that strong identity is left behind in front of where we really wanted to steal. Some infighting could be fun.
Much
This
more than
is why
just a
we need
pretty
you.
face?
Much, much more.
At much, much more. Let's go into a little not flashback necessarily, but a little scene explaining why Deer has taken this job.
You will see the complete opposite of what she's trying to present. Like, she is in a bare field, like after the rain, so there is mud everywhere, but she is in a line of people, all poised, maybe like 10 feet apart, and in this like 100 feet, maybe like a full football field down from them, is a single target. And they all have arrows ready, including her, but she is much smaller. Um, and you hear someone shout something indistinct, and they all fire at once. And Deer's arrow splits someone else's. And you see this, like, then for the first time, you like see a close up of her face, like smiling and cheering. And she's the only person that has bothered to put on what is really like white ash, but is makeup for her. So she like tried to like contour her face. It's quite frightening, but she tried to do it with this very bright color, so she looks a little bit more than she is. And then it is a cut to the job that got her this party, which is her in the air, upside down, doing all of these crazy like flips. But it is in clearly common clothes, sewn to look fancier. And then there is a cut to what she's wearing tonight. And you think she's moving up. This is the first time. Also, Lila would know this is the first time she's ever looked like this uniform. This is a step up.
Why is Lila here?
In our little baby flashback, you see a kind of barren landscape dotted with skeletal trees, and in the center of what looks like it was once a field is a small church, and it's packed to the gills. It is the only church for miles and miles around. So the preacher can pretty much preach what he wants, and what he wants is nothing short of violence and fear. Citing demonic reasonings for the collapse of the empire before, and all sorts of nonsense that isn't what people on the verge of nothingness want to hear or need to hear. It might be what they want to hear, but it is not what they need to hear. And you see like a even smaller Lila, probably an 8-year-old child. She's got like missing front teeth, little braids in her red hair, and she's skipping around and trying to help around the church as best she can. When some just very innocuous, harmless little sparks fly off her fingers, and she's ecstatic, and she runs up to her father and shows him, and the look of a thundercloud just passes across his face. And there's, what is that? No, then the like ringing in your ears that happens when you hit your head. It's that kind of ringing sound as he screams, and she's kind of shut away from people, and she's left alone for a lot of it. One, because he fears her, and two, because he thinks that the demons have taken his child. And not too much after that, maybe 10 or 12, you see Lila sneaking out of her house with a little backpack on, going toward something better. But always remembering the small church in the middle of nowhere that really doesn't need to be there.
As we pull out of this flashback, Martin, you're standing still kind of close to the same place you were before. You glance over, you're watching the party, and you see the other 3 people that were hired along with you kind of huddled closely and whispering, and kind of, they seem oddly jovial about something, or excited, or maybe there's
the wisdom
there's
of the forefathers has finally come to them. I see. I was probably finishing talking to someone, and I was like, you see, the Chalice of Providence was actually, you see, before the fall, when Benedict Judas betrayed Washington, it was drops of his blood fell into the chalice, and Lincoln and Roosevelt and Jefferson were left, and they decided to hide it because the power of the leadership power that someone could possess if they had the chalice was too powerful, so they went to hide it. So that is the quest that I am on, is to find that. The Chalice of Providence. So have you seen it anywhere? Have you any words, any inklings?
As you look up from telling your story, the person you were talking to is not there anymore.
Ah, yes. Next time. Well, I guess I'll go this way then. And he just starts to walk towards the group, and as he's walking over, he's going to kind of look around and touch his Lincoln beard and sort of to himself be like, Father Lincoln, grant me your wisdom. And he's going to sort of look around, and I would like to use my assess skill, which is, I think, basically insight, and just passively going around and being is that person shifty, is that person shifty, doing that passively as I'm walking around,
Sure.
with the gift of Lincoln's wisdom.
Right.
Yes.
Make that roll, and then is there anything else you wanted to add for why you have this job, or did
yes,
that?
Of course.
Okay.
Would love to.
Just what you're thinking, as you're looking around, and then I'll tell you what you see based on your roll.
Okay. And for the audience and for myself, it's just a D20, and then we add our little bonusy things to it, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Alright. That is a nat 20. Yes, sir, for the first roll of the game. And that is a plus 3. Thank you, Lincoln. The forefathers are smiling on me today. But anyways, what he is thinking as he's looking around, I would say he's looking at the lavishness of this party, and though he's very serious and more impassive, he gets a little frown on his face, and we get a little flashback to a little Martin Washington with his father, who basically looks almost exactly like him. Just this huge presence, really big mustache, and he's talking to Martin when he was a little kid, and Martin was asking him about these other kids in the town and why they don't have a house, and why they don't have money or don't have shoes. And he's just well, they just some people have it worse off, and it's and that's how the world is. And he's well, I don't want that to be how the world is. And he's well, then go and make it different. And he's I will. And then it kind of shows him going through this for all intents and purposes, a cult of the way of the forefathers, sort of taking his own interpretation of the teachings and then when he's like around 18, being like, yes, I'm going to, like everyone else, almost like a knight errant sort of thing, taking his quest to go and find the Chalice of Providence. And it has led him here, like a bunch of different cuts of him searching around, asking people, going through bogs with like lanterns and things, and showing like him like reaching into his pouch, and there's like less and less money, and then he's like can't hire the people to help him navigate through the bogs and the swamps, so then he's starting to take on these quests, but he's just constantly reminded by this wealth and how these people are and how they do not emulate the principles of the forefathers, of truth, of wisdom, of whatever the rest of them were. And it's a bad taste in his mouth, but he knows he's caught in between, like, keeping these principles but also finding the chalice. So it's, and then it sort of goes back to the presence as he's sort of wipes the distaste out of his mouth and continues walking towards the other wardens.
And what were you looking around for specifically?
Just generally checking, like, if, like, is that person shifty? I mean, they're all kind of shifty, but just being like, do they look dangerous? Because he's been doing this for many years, being a warden, so he can kind of tell if someone has a weapon on them, or is kind of like a little bit too sweaty and kind of keeping an eye on the doors or something like that. He's looking for shifty behavior.
Okay.
Doing the whole bodyguard thing.
Yeah. As you're making your way through this crowd, looking around, no one appears to be carrying any weapons on them. Not even Reginald Nash, which seems quite unwise in his current situation, but nobody seems to be carrying a weapon. Nobody seems to be concerned about anything. Everyone is laughing. Everyone's having a great drunken time. Everyone's at least a few drinks in at this point. No stopping in the near future.
Perhaps Nash could have used some of Lincoln's wisdom. And I guess I continue over to the group and be like, well, all is well, friends. There seems to be no troubles with anyone inside of this party. Honestly, it seems like a done and done sort of mission, I would believe.
I did notice that. I'm kind of just waiting for things to kick off at some point.
Yes.
Once they drink more, we'll know more.
Yes, I'm sure there will be a few roughhousers that we'll have to throw out, gladly. But it doesn't seem as if these rumors or anything will be really being enacted tonight. Hopefully, thank the forefathers.
Did I hear you say your name's Martin?
Yes, Ezekiel Martin Washington. I don't believe we have met.
Nice to meet you, Lenora.
Wonderful to meet you, Lenora. So, what brings you here? I've learned a little bit from I actually didn't get any of your names before. I learned a little bit from these two wonderful people about what they're doing here, but yourself, what brings you to New Orleans?
Oh, I'm actually from the area, but tonight I am trying to do my best by working. Apparently working is finding more out about you, though. How are your fathers? Oh, whatever.
Forefathers.
You wish to know about the way of the forefathers? Well, I'll tell you all about it.
The other two are like, oh god.
He goes on this whole thing. Basically, I mean, for us in the real life, the cult has got it confused from Mount Rushmore and from misremembering history. So basically the whole cult is just like way misremembered history, but honestly some really nice sort of like principles and way of life. But he finishes telling you, and he's like, and that's why I am after the Chalice of Providence. So if you have any friends or know of any sort of nature goers in the area, I'm looking for specific ruins and places that could have hidden the chalice. So Very much would appreciate any sort of information if you ever come across it.
The only chalices I care about are full of liquor.
Ah! Jefferson over here. Musicality. Having fun. He played a mean jazz sax.
Really?
Yes, the stories tell.
I see. Your conversationalism is quite impressive, sir.
Ah, thank you. I don't get much of it, but glad to. So, you all nice dresses.
We were just discussing our goals for the evening.
Yes.
Of course,
Yes, goals.
to execute the job that we were hired to do flawlessly. I think we all are in agreements with that. But just we were wondering if there's anything else you wanted to accomplish other than this chalice, which we have heard and we have made note of. Is there anything else that you would be willing to participate in this evening, or I don't know, just some like other things? Just what's on your heart for this on
What
tonight?
else do you lack?
Yeah.
Well, I will say that anything to further my quest is my main priority, but again, just fulfilling the tenets of the forefathers.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
Wisdom.
The entire room falls silent.
Uh-oh.
Shit.
It is a silence that lasts just a few seconds too long. And Lila, you begin to look around and realize that everyone is frozen. Martin stopped mid-sentence. You're glancing around. You see drinks being poured into glasses. You see the liquid suspended in mid-pour. A tray of peeled grapes is being knocked off of the table by a drunken noble. You see the grapes frozen in midair as the tray is almost frozen mid-flip. Everyone is frozen, including yourself, but you're the only one that seems to be aware. You're the only one that seems to be able to move their eyes. You're not sure if anyone else is experiencing what you are. But as your eyes are glancing to try to meet other people's, no one else is looking around. Nobody is catching your gaze as you're stuck in your own unmoving body. You can't move your mouth. You can't make a noise. Only your eyes move. And you hear the large double doors to the ballroom open with a loud shudder of wood and a creak of the metal hinges. Your eyes dart to look, and you see a sight that directly contrasts the clean, decadent ballroom. A woman walks in wearing leathers and rags, clean, but different shades of browns and maroons. Her boots clunk against the ballroom floor as she walks, hair kind of blowing back with each step as the hat on her head rests to give her nearly the height of the figures that walk alongside her. Tall and slender and wearing tattered old suits and crudely designed jack-o'-lantern masks over their heads. Jack's lanterns. The folks that usually patrol the streets to protect the citizens from the drunken nobles. There are 4 of them. 2 that walk beside this woman, and 2 that walk behind. She walks directly up to Reginald Nash, but her head twitches slightly as if she was distracted by something. As if she could sense your eyes moving in their sockets. Her head slowly turns and her eyes fall to you and she smiles. Well, well. She turns her attention completely to you, snapping her fingers to signal Jack's lanterns to begin grabbing onto Reginald Nash and tying him up. They begin to do so, and you're currently powerless to stop it. You can't move, only your eyes are able to take in the scene around you. What do we have here? And she steps directly up to you and reaches up. She grabs onto your chin, and she can move you. She moves your head from side to side, looking you up and down as if preparing to just consume your existence. Aren't you a special one? The lanterns are beginning to drag Reginald Nash out towards the doorway now. But this woman obscures a lot of your view of that as she stands in front of you. She's cocking her head back and forth, watching your eyes dart and strain to see, watching you try so hard to fight this petrification. She seems amused, just lost in watching you for a moment. She talks back to the lanterns as they reach the door. Put Mr. Nash with the others. We have a parade to prepare for. They drag him the rest of the way out, and her eyes stay glued to you. She leans in close into your ear, and in a whisper, you feel the hairs stand up on your arms and the back of your neck as she says, "You'd be better off if you sat this one out, darling." And with that, she turns around and she walks out. You hear her boots clunking against the floor as she goes to exit. She grabs onto both door handles to pull them closed as she backs out of the ballroom. But first, she winks and blows you a kiss. As the doors latch, your senses come back fully. The clattering of the tray that held the grapes.
Wisdom, tenacity, and musicality,
That
but I feel
bitch!
as if... excuse me? I do feel as if the nobles here do not emulate the principles.
No, it's not about you. It's not about you. You're you.
The founding fathers.
Yes, I am.
No, that's not it.
Oh.
Someone took Nash.
What?
Took him?
He's
Gotta
right
go, come
over
on.
the... Oh, shit.
Lila's already walking toward the door.
Lenore
okay.
trusts her. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
go.
hightailing it.
What do you... pardon me, Lila? What do you mean... where did... excuse... I'm looking around. Obviously, I do not see
You're
him.
like following, like,
What do you
Lila's
mean they're
just
gone?
kind of- Lila's
just-
like monologuing as she goes, like, I don't know if someone stopped time. Everyone was frozen, but I could still move my eyes. And she opened the doors, and there were, how many were there? Were there, did you say 3 or 5?
4.
4. Well, neither of those. And there were 4 of them, and there was this one woman, and she knew I could move still, but I couldn't move. I could just look. And then she said, take Mr. Nash and put him with the others. We have a parade to prepare for, or something like that. And then she said it was best to sit this one out, which, like hell, if nothing else, I want her to teach me what the fuck she knows. And then she closed the door, and she winked at me and blew me a kiss, which was honestly kind of hot. But,
Oh, right.
come on.
What British devilry was that? Well, we must find them. We must. Yes. Forward. I start running.
Forward
I don't
where?
know.
Okay.
Where? You don't know where you're going? Okay.
I stop at the
all
door. Yes. Which way? Quick,
should-
Lila.
We should probably stop and, I don't know, figure out what the hell this parade is. And you've never seen this
Yeah.
woman before?
Read.
No, she was just, like covered in a dark cloak, and she had piercing eyes, and her hands were worn but strong, like a.
I don't think.
Anyway,
More about her hands.
We should go after her.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we should all go after her. All of us,
Yes.
all of us should go after her.
Yes. Okay. In which way? You through the door? You said.
Yeah, through the door.
Quickly. Kick the door open and run out into the street.
Can I pull up the rear
Sure.
as like Martin is like powering forward and everyone's like rushing? I'm just like trying to be as like calm as I can. Like I'm like fast walking until I realize people are probably like, "What the fuck are
Yeah,
these?"
some people are looking like, what the
Yeah.
fuck
just
is
ran
So
out
I'm
of
walking
the
out like,
Axes out.
Excuse me. My friends, do not eat any of the canapes. Thank you. Okay. All right.
and I'm like kind of just trying to like smooth things out so no one follows us.
Yes.
Amazing. As the doors open and as you are walking out, you didn't realize how warm it was getting in the ballroom from all of the, bodies moving around. The crisp air hits you, and there's just a little bit of a chill as you're walking out into the night. The streets are empty.
I go and I kneel in the middle of the street, put my axe sort of like rest in my head on top of it, and like I say, Washington, Lincoln, Jefferson, Roosevelt, guide me in this moment. And I think while I'm doing that, getting ready to do a search check, but just for everyone else's sake, he is not the person who should be doing searching.
Yeah. I was gonna say, can I actually scout? I want this to happen. I will wait for this to fully happen, but I do want.
Yeah, I want to know what everyone's immediate like task is. Like Martin is crouching down and praying to the forefathers. What is everyone else specifically doing?
I think so. I have a regional cultures book and a book of the occult on me. I'd like to do research in my book of the occult to see if I can find any like folklore or anything like that that fits the description of what Lila has kind of explained to us.
Okay. Is there anything in particular you'd like to roll for that? Like, is that
I would like to roll research.
Research.
Yeah, research. I have to have a book.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
I'm glad I do.
All right. What are the other two doing?
Deer is probably whatever direction Martin is praying in. Deer is looking the opposite way and looking for like tracks if people look like a bunch of people have just walked by, or like time got weird for them, just any obvious samples in any direction.
Is there anything in particular you would like to roll for this?
Ooh. I'm gonna just pick my highest skill no matter what. So that's lock picking.
I'm glad we both put stuff into that. Thank you.
Yes, good. Honestly, I feel like maybe survive if it's like survival.
Yeah, that sounds
Okay.
good to me.
Cool.
And what is Lila doing? To answer your questions, yes, these will be D20 rolls plus your bonuses. I just want to hear what everybody wants to roll first, and then we'll get those rolls.
I would like to use my passive seer ability, which is inherent ward. You can see creatures and threats with the action fade or the passive shade abilities, regardless of your vigilance score. So, as I understand it, that means that people or things that are magically or maybe mundanely hidden, I can see them.
Gives you that little like video game task glow.
Right.
Yeah.
That crouch and listen.
Perfect. And you don't even have to make a roll for that, right? That's just an ability that you have.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Everyone else, make your rolls. Tell me what you get. Martin, it'll be a search. It'll be a search.
Since I'm praying, I feel like as I get up, can I just like climb up somewhere high so that I don't have to do a search? Like do a stunt roll so I don't have to do a search roll, so I can just get up somewhere high so I can see.
Sure. Yeah, if that's what you want to do, go for it.
I got a
Just
16 on my
Okay.
research roll.
Okay. Did you just get another natural 20?
I did.
Throw those dice away.
Boom, boom, boom.
Incredible.
I rolled an 18 on my survive check.
Fantastic. As soon as you walk out, the doors close and you suddenly hear like the frantic flipping of the pages of a book. As suddenly you've pulled that book out and you're like, I swear this sounds familiar. Flipping through, it's drowned out by the sound of Martin praying to the forefathers and then abruptly standing up and walking over and climbing up onto
That way.
climbing up to take a better look.
How do I know what it is? It was that way. Never mind. Sorry.
I think glancing around between Lila and Deer, I do not think there would be any tracks. You're looking for like drag marks and you just don't see any. You don't see any of them. But I think with her saying maybe out loud looking for tracks or something like that, Lila, you shift your focus from seeing like hidden people and shift it more toward tracks themselves. And you can see not tracks that were left in the dirt or anything like that, but you almost see like highlights of footsteps that seem to track down the street and turn into one of the alleyways.
As I start kind of following the rest of the group, I try to kind of catch up to Lila specifically. I don't mean to raise unnecessary alarms, but I did a little bit of research and, I could have sworn I could remember someone talking to me about, a medicine woman, a witch, somewhere in these parts. I don't know her name, but she has rumored to be quite a bit of power, and perhaps this could be the person we are looking for.
Ooh, be incredible. We find her, we make a deal for Nash, we learn from her. Oh, this gets better and better.
She
And
knows where
Lila-
the Chalice of Providence is.
Oh,
It will be
I
very good.
mean, if we
But
can make
again,
an
we
ally.
shouldn't fraternize with the enemy first. First, we must attend to our duties. He's more saying that to himself than anything.
Isn't our goal to bring him back in one piece? I mean, if she took him, it's probably not just she needs him to sign something. We need to have something
Well,
of equal
if we
value.
keep him alive, I don't think One Piece was part of the rules. I just think alive was part of the rules.
Can I
So
pull
she
out
can
the
have a couple
contract?
fingers.
Well, this is true. We don't know, how extensive this parade is that she's trying to gussy up. Maybe she's more reasonable than we think, and she just wants to have a good time.
Yeah, maybe. And Lila finally looks up from the ground. She's been pretty focused on like leading through the footsteps, and she looks up at you, and her eyes are glowing a little bit, almost like pinkish white. And you can see in her hand, from one of the many pockets, is kind of like a perverted rosary, where any kind of religious iconography that was on it has been replaced with the vertebra of some kind of large, medium large mammal.
Ah, so you have a gift as well. Very interesting.
Are you all right? You're fine at everything, right? It's not like it's just your eyes. I mean, it's fine, but just making sure you're all right.
Dear, you've shot me before, and you didn't have this much concern.
Well, I don't know what they feel like when you see weird shit, so I just want to make sure. And when I'm shooting you, I know I'm not going to kill you. Like, it's me. I might be upside down, blindfolded, and shooting my feet, but I know where your heart is.
Yeah, you do, huh?
Okay.
No, it's fine. It don't hurt nothing. It's just a little bit brighter.
The eyes of Washington. I see.
I do not have the eyes of any man.
Oh no, it is a gift. You can see truth.
No.
Okay, sure.
You
can have
put
your own thing.
my
That's
name with a
cool, too.
man. You say I'm part of a man, and I will rip yours off.
Oh no! It is more principles. I did not mean to offend. Apologies. I meant no offense.
It's all right.
We gotta find some founding mothers, some founding parents, and we'll work on that.
Oh yeah. Oh, actually, it is interestingly enough, Washington is actually a woman.
So what?
What?
I have to
Martha?
know what. I also have to know what Washington you're named after.
Oh, George Washington.
George
They
Washington.
famously, they would a woman. There's a lot of accounts of them actually being misgendered.
But she's still a founding father.
Oh yes, father is more of a. It's a loose term. Some people at the church, in weird terms, but it's sort of the genderless version of father. I don't know. Anyways, but yes, let's go.
All right. Well, you lead the way with your torch eyes.
I think I let Martin get a little ahead of me, and then when he starts going wrong, I'm like, no, Not that way either.
This way? Oh, this way.
Nope.
Perhaps
Try
you should
again.
take the lead.
No, you're doing a great job.
Oh, okay.
On one of the turns, Martin, I would like for you
Yeah!
to just make a reflex roll for me.
Oh, hell yeah, let's do it.
Ah.
Where the hell is reflex? Oh, right there. Okay. So for all those out there, we have predetermined numbers for our reflex, intuition, vigilance, and build. Does this mean that I have to roll under what my number is to succeed at the reflex thing?
No. So if I was making something against your reflex, I would have to beat whatever that larger number is. You are just making a check, so you just add whatever the smaller number
modifier.
is.
Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. I am killing it today, y'all. It is not a nat 20, but it is a 19 plus 4.
Holy shit.
This is dramatically going to reverse when it actually matters. I'm gonna get ones for the rest of the frickin' time. I can assure you.
So as you're kind of turning to say, maybe you should lead, you're like kind of stepping in front of basically this just pile of garbage. And it rounds the corner into a separate alleyway, and as you're stepping that direction, bats fly out of the alleyway.
Washington's ghost! And I sort of leap back, axe leveled, looking over at the bats. And they are just bats, right?
Yeah, they're just bats. They
Okay.
flew out. You startled them. They flew out, and they're gone now.
Well, seems as if I'm not as perceptive as I would like to be. Yes, but perhaps, that was awkward. Well, yes, perhaps you should take the lead, Nyla.
As Martin is talking, and facing you, you see a figure step out of the alleyway from behind.
How embarrassing! I'm just like,
Long, slender, with a crude jack-o'-lantern mask.
You wanna come over this way, or you wanna come over here?
I mean, we're heading this way, right? So if
We
I
are,
just
but
stay right
come on.
here,
Come on.
is there
So
something
why
you
don't you
need to
turn
say?
around?
They begin
Shout at
reaching
me! I can hear it from there.
into their vest.
Is there something? And I start.
You're
walking
6 o'clock.
towards-
6 o'clock.
Turn around!
Huh? What? Yeah, I'd like to turn and look.
This figure is pulling a sickle.
God damn it! No.
There ain't no wheat around here.
Is pulling a sickle, and kind of like spins it in their hand. For a moment, you see like the blade kind of glint a little bit from the lanterns that light the streets, and you just see the figure basically readying up. Lila, you have first move.
What to do? I would like to. I'm gonna spend a resolve point and use telepathy and speak into this thing's mind and say, look, we don't really care about that fucker Reginald. Honestly, we just want the money that he's gonna give us. You can go get him any other day of the year. That being said, I would like to find the woman who I'm assuming was working with you. So if you could point us in that direction, that would actually be super helpful.
So that's in his mind, correct?
Yes. He hears that in his mind.
Can he respond? Like, is it like a message sort of thing where he can respond, or
It
is that
doesn't
just
really say? It just says as an action, you can spend a resolve. You can send a telepathic message to a character within 30 feet for the next 2 minutes.
okay?
So it feels like maybe, I don't know.
I'm gonna say roll persuade.
Okay. All right. What's my This is the wrong sheet. Hold on. All right. Persuade. Let's do this. Ha. Oh. 18.
Nice. Now I'm gonna have you roll something weird.
I love weird.
Make an intuition roll.
Intuition. All right. Is this one? Yeah, it's this one. Ooh, it wasn't the one. 12.
You can tell that the words have gotten through, but you can't. There's something about, you don't know if it's the mask that is hiding the expression just enough to where you can't tell if they were understood.
All right, this seems terrible.
Is that your turn? You have, that was your action. You have a blitz action if you would like, which is like aim, sprint, or you could also strategize, which anybody who would choose to strategize on their turn. Strategize is when a character strategizes as a blitz action, they can redetermine their position in the turn order. Instead of a vigilance roll, they make a lore strategy roll and use the result to determine their position. So the thing is if you roll, you have to take that. If it's lower in the turn order, then you're bumped down lower.
Right. I'll reach in. Lila reaches in like she's going for one of her pockets, but this one goes deeper, and you figure out that it's a slit in the dress. And she kind of rummages around in the dress for a minute and pulls out a little 41 Derringer that's been strapped to her thigh all night. I guess we're doing this!
And so you're going to use that to aim?
Yeah, aim.
Wonderful. So aiming is going to give you a +1 to your ranged rolls nice. On your next turn.
Cool.
Wonderful.
Seeing Lila take out a gun, Deer is going to start to get some space between her and everyone else. And say, I was kind of hoping there was like a reveal for this, but fine. And she takes off the hoop skirt completely, and there is it's not, I'm sorry, but there is an entire quiver and bow just tucked into the under part of the skirt. And she just quickly puts it on, and it's like none of the showmanship that was there before. This is like work. She's like, do we have to kill it? It doesn't understand anything, right?
I don't know. It didn't seem like it understood me, and I spoke into its brain, so...
Oh, I'm gonna sign to it. Are you cool?
Incredible. Yes, absolutely. That was really ableist of me to assume it could hear.
No, it's okay. I forgot I spoke that language. It's ableist of me to forget.
What are you guys talking about? Oh, shit!
Oh, yeah.
I'm just walking towards you. I haven't even seen this yet.
You just see two people take out.
What the hell is going on?
I will say also make an intuition roll as well.
Okay. I got that. That is also a 12.
Yeah, you're not sure if they don't know what you mean, or if they quite literally don't even understand the concept of what you're doing. You're not sure.
Okay. Then I think that's still my actions, taking out the weapon and signing to them.
Okay. I'll allow a blitz action if you want to aim.
Can I calmly walk towards them? Like, not quite like knocked, but just walk towards them.
Okay.
Cool.
Sure. It is their turn. And as you are walking towards them, you see they're just standing there, just straight, like perfect posture. They've pulled out this sickle, and then as you're getting closer to them, you see them just lunge forward with 2 sudden sickle attacks, 2 blitz actions, just slicing in like an X cross toward you. There's something called counter move. When an enemy misses with melee, that character allows the character to move in any direction equal to their sprint. So, like, if I miss you right now, you can move away without, like, an attack of opportunity, basically, which are called counter maneuvers. And then we also have armor. Keep that in mind with any damage. Your armor is going to soak that amount of damage that your armor is. So, let's see if I hit you with this sickle. That's a 6. Against your, I believe, is it reflex or resolve? Resolve, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, either way, we're good. That's a miss.
Perfect. So that is a miss, and you are able to move away from this person if you'd like.
She's going to instinctively, like, dip back, and just fully backhand spring away, back to her warden friends.
Amazing.
Not a friend, huh? Not a friend.
Yeah, there was that first slice. The second slice, like, you're already flipping, like, moving away, slices and misses again, but has now, like, lunged and is in a full, like, attack stance towards the group. And that is, that is their turn. They are just, like, calmly taking steps in your direction.
So to take a weapon out, that's my action.
I believe so, yes, if it was
Okay.
not out before.
Yeah. So I see him, and I take a couple of steps back, and I reach into, like, the side of my waistcoat, and I pull out my Derringer, and I kind of level it at this creature, and I kind of warn him, "We just are here to talk. We want to discuss where your master, mistress, whoever, is keeping our quarry. Put your weapon down. We don't want to have to hurt you." And I just kind of, like, hold up one hand, but realize, like, this dude is in it to win it, and I just continue to point with my other hand, bracing for what's next.
All right, using a blitz action to aim.
Yes.
Perfect. And Martin, you have finally made it over to your friends. You see them all aiming weapons, or having weapons out, aiming weapons in the direction of behind you.
Seems to be the problem. Oh, Jesus. I mean, Washington's ghost. And I guess I see this person try to slice at deer. So I'm like, all right, don't worry, friends. I think Washington here will get to the heart of the matter. And I spin it in my hand, and I'm just going to run, and I'm going to attack them, but I'm going to use the blunt side of the axe to try to, like, boom, like, bang them on the side of the head so I don't, like, murder them.
Perfect.
So I'll try to attack them with my little axey boy. I was right. It's gonna be bad rolls now. Boy. Well, I mean, I guess that just doesn't work. I mean, it's 6. So I'm assuming that's not
6.
yeah.
Trick carry.
Oh, let me go ahead and let's give you all 1 adrenaline point that you can use. Full disclosure, that's not going to help you right now, but
Can I use it to re-roll?
so I'm not sure if you can use it to re-roll. Let's see. You can turn their successful roll into a critical success. That's pretty cool. Turn their critical failure into a regular failure. Players cannot expend more than 1 adrenaline point per turn phase, and you cannot have more than 4 adrenaline points at a time.
Question about Blitz. I'm trying to find where it tells you the other things that you can do with Blitz.
I think some weapons have a blitz feature to them, and you can, like, fire them as a blitz action.
Yeah, some specific things. Other than that, I have aim, sprint, and strategize as the regular blitz actions that can be taken.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess I can't really do anything else, so I guess I'll just stand there. Yeah, so I guess I will miss with my splitting axe and be like, well, I guess Washington doesn't really know the truth of it right now, but you just wait. And that's my turn.
All right. Lila, back up to you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna shoot it. It's a big spooky thing and it's not answering me, so I'm gonna shoot it.
Go for it. You have a +1.
Oh shit. Well, that's gone. I have 15 dice up here. Not great. 11.
You fire and you see, like, part of this jack-o'-lantern mask was slammed into. You see it is made of wood. It shatters outward into the alley. You see this person, like, turn their head, and as they're turning back, you see half their mask shattered off. You see a person behind the mask, and you see their eyes wide, and you also see their eyes are a little glazed over and glowing.
That was a warning shot. Stand down. Take us to your leader.
Nice.
Thanks.
Something is definitely wrong with these people. It seems as if there's in a trance or something.
Well, you said that the beautiful woman, she had an assortment of powers.
I don't even know what she could do. It was so. I mean, the room stopped. No one moved.
This could be witchcraft.
It could be, but God, I want to learn it. But we gotta stop the job. We'll keep doing our job until I find her.
Yeah, the lantern is continuously, like, taking steps toward you.
Are they just like walking away from me?
Actually, you are close up, so they're probably turning to you and.
Sorry, I didn't say anything.
Yeah,
What did you say?
They are raising the sickle.
But okay.
I'll blitz action to aim again.
Okay.
I'm going to, now that we're fighting, I'm going to try to, now that I see there's a person in there, I didn't really want to shoot anybody so early, but she knocks a bow on her quiver, and you can, or not on her bow, and you can see that there's like a white, like, gemstone, like moonstone inlay, and it says, like, Dixon, her last name, and she aims and fires, not for the face, for, like, shoulder.
Sure. So you are rolling against their resolve.
That's a 10.
All right, you fire this arrow, and you hear it rip through clothing. I mean, you hear it rip, but you see the arm kind of come up, and it seems to have just sliced right underneath the arm. You see a little bit of blood beginning to cover, like, the tattered clothing, but not enough to really pierce.
Okay. Well, if anybody needs, I don't know. I know you like bones and body parts and shit. There's blood now.
I'll get some, don't worry.
I do want to try something else that's dumb. I would like to try to get, she has smelling salts, and I would like to see if she can get as close as she can with them. Mechanically, they remove a comatose condition, but also a confused condition, if that's what we're dealing with.
I would say you could get up to him with your sprint blitz action, but pulling those out, like swapping items is probably, like, on your next turn.
Sweet.
Cool. Awesome.
Guys, and help Deer do that on their next turn. Like, do a little... Because I didn't use my blitz, so, like, could I... I don't know if that really matters, the turn order, but I would like to help them.
Okay.
Next time with that.
Okay. It is the lantern's turn. And Jack's lantern is going to looking directly Martin, he should be looking at you, but you can see he's just facing in your exact direction and his eyes are just looking forward. They're not meeting yours, they're not meeting any part of you necessarily. They're looking through everything. But you see they raise up this sickle and they're gonna take one attack toward you. And let's see. They're gonna take both attacks towards you. Kind of
That's
unaware of
selfish.
Anyone else walking up currently. So, God, I am rolling terribly.
Good.
Oh no.
That's a 10 for the first one
Ha!
and an 8 for the second.
You jest. I feel like the stickles are coming down, and I'm just like, cha, cha, cha. Well, it's been quite a while. And it's just sort of like a
Blocking them with
tossing
your
these
axe.
things. Yeah, blocking them
Nice.
with my axe. Just be like, well, I would like to see you not being mind controlled or glazed over, and see how you actually fight, because this is disappointing, honestly.
That is its turn. Lenora, you're up.
I'm kind of like, I'm standing there with my derringer pointed and I'm trying to get like a good lock on this creature. But Martin is like cavorting around in the way. And so I just yell, "The founding fathers would like you to kneel! Kneel!"
Hooah!
And I point, like I continue to just kind of level my weapon. I kind of take a deep breath and I just try to shoot him. I'm not going to call a shot because I know there's like penalties and I'm not feeling strong enough for that right now.
Okay. You'll have your...
Yes.
Yes, there
So
is.
the
Oh, there
combat
are.
skills
Okay.
section.
Ooh.
Like, right
Combat skills.
there.
Yeah, melee
Like
or
ranged
ranged.
or melee.
Oh, heck yeah. All right. So that's a +2. That's a 15. Ooh.
Okay. Do you have your damage for that?
Yes, my damage, because I am using my Derringer, is 1d6, which also goes on the floor. That's fine. It's okay. This is why we have multiple dice. That's 3 points of damage.
All right, so your gun fires, and you see this lantern take a shot to the stomach. You see them kind of like stumble backwards a little bit, and they kind of glance down, and then just glance back up in this same trance back towards Martin. But you hit it, and it hurt.
Did it?
It did.
I aim again
Okay.
and just kind of stand my ground.
All right, Martin.
I'd like to. I see that Kadira is coming towards with some smelling salts, so I'd like to pretty much restrain this person. Just try to like kind of get behind them, put the axe in front of them, kind of move like hold the axe close to me so that their arms get like bound by it. So I'd like to do some fun judo. To try to do that. I believe that'd probably be a stunt.
Yeah, stunt
I
sounds
think-
good.
Dope. Dope. Fuck me, dice. That's right, baby! Okay, so that is a 19 plus 3.
All right. Yeah, so you do so. You have this man restrained in whatever manner / position you would like.
I feel like I sort of brush my hat and I'm like, Roosevelt, give me strength! And then he like swings over my head. I'm like, oh no, Lenora told me to duck or to kneel. So I kneel and do that sort of like cool roll over behind him and then come up around and then put the axe, pull him close, pull the arms close. So the arms are like this. And I'm like, quickly! And I would look over at Deer.
Restraining this person, we're out of combat. You're
Okay.
able to rush up, and your goal is to grab the smelling salts and like put them up to
Yeah,
this person's face?
just all the way up there.
Okay. Lila, you watch with like this intense curiosity as I mean all of you are watching, but like Lila's watching. As these it's almost like this just way too quick inhale. And then you see the eyes. It's not like a gradual change. You see the blink and it's suddenly no longer glazed over. You see blue eyes. And then you see the face twist in pain as he looks down at like the wound in his stomach. And what do you do?
Drop the sickles.
He drops it, and you just see both hands kind of like attempting to move to his side, and you just hear him
push
like,
him
"What?
forward.
Let him go.
What the fuck is going on? Did you attack me?"
You attacked us.
Exactly. Do you remember? I don't. Who are you first?
You see him kind of like rip off the rest of his mask. He looks like 19, 20 years old. My name's Devin. What the fuck is going on? Look, I was out here. I was patrolling the streets. I'm supposed to keep people, and he's kind of like looking at your attire, safe from the elite. You don't look like you're the elite. Who shot me?
That doesn't matter right now. What matters is, where's the person who's in charge of y'all? Who's the one that sent you out on this patrol?
A woman, perhaps.
Odd looking.
There's this like look of recognition. No. She didn't send us out on patrol. We patrol voluntarily, but I remember a woman. And you see him kind of looking around to gauge where he is, and he's like, there was a woman, and she's very pretty. And she told me she had a job for me, but I don't remember what it was.
Where did the woman go after she said she had a job for you? Or where did she come from?
Yeah, I don't remember after she said she had a job, but she came out of one of those empty warehouses and kind of points off. They've been empty for a while. Everybody was, fired from it. It's been vacant for months. But I'm pretty sure that's where she came from. Did she shoot me?
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah,
Did she
shot
rob
you.
And he's like immediately like patting his pockets. She robbed me. And he's like,
robbed you.
Robbed you? How much did you have on you? And how much do you usually carry on you most of the time?
I mean, not much. I don't really have a whole lot, but and you just see him kind of like there's this new level of defeat, and then he winces and holds his side again.
Come here. I'll can I try and use nurse to wrap him up and stop the bleeding a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
Can I also roll something to control myself and not tell him the truth?
Yeah.
What, like a...
I'm holding the
That's
axe
the
and I'm
checks.
thinking about Washington and the forefathers, and I'm like, we're lying to him.
What,
Truth? What would George do?
what would that be, do you think? Like a...
Like maybe willpower or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah.
That sounds perfect.
What is my target DC?
I would say for you, we'll say 14.
Oh boy. Okay, apparently I'm only rolling 19s and 2s. So this is a 21 total.
Nice.
Yeah, so what does that look like? That's what it looks like. Mouth,
I-
like, lips squeezed together, like...
I just sort of like, lips very tight. I put the axe on my back and I'm like, what's important is the mission. And then I sort of turn away and I'm trying not to look at them.
I got a 19 to wrap him up a little bit.
Okay, yeah, you patch him up best that you can, and he's thankful, but he seems Like, he's just sitting there repeating, like, she said she had a job, and then... God, what happened?
Baby, she put a spell on you. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Ever
Do
seen
you
the
remember
play
attacking
Hocus
us?
Pocus? No, sorry.
Do I remember attacking you?
Yes. You came out of the alley brandishing sickles and heading in our companion's direction. This young man almost lost his head.
Unprovoked.
I'm so sorry. And he like looks down and sees the sickle on the ground. He's like, oh, I didn't hurt anybody, did I?
Not quite.
Okay.
Good enough for that. It's all right. You'll get back.
Perhaps our good turn in not killing you deserves another, and you can escort us to the warehouse this woman was last seen.
Yes, the wisdom of Lincoln agrees.
Make a persuade roll.
Can I assist in some way by looking scary?
Do you want to make
Being a large man?
threaten roll? Being a large man?
Not really. But
19.
I'll do it.
19?
Oh, never mind.
Man, I mean, I really don't want to. If she robbed me and shot me and put a spell on me, apparently there was a lot of things that happened. Also, do I have to go in, or can I just show you which one?
I think which one will suffice. Lila is quite talented at figuring out all sorts of secrets.
Okay. All right, follow me, and you see him just kind of like kick the sickle into the garbage, and continue walking. He begins leading you down the alley. Is there anything, kind of said as he's leading you, or are you moving in silence?
What's the young man's name again? Sorry.
Devin.
Devin.
I keep my weapon out. Like, I'm not brandishing it, but I keep it in my hand as we're kind of walking through the streets, and I kind of like hang back a little bit to see if I can kind of like just kind of check out the area and make sure no one's following us.
Okay.
Can I hang back with Lenore? You're thinking like a scout. Is this usually how you operate? Or are you just being careful?
Oh, no, cher. I am a painter by trade, and I prefer to notice as much as I can. I have a feeling this one is not the only enchanted.
I agree.
You're quite alert and quite sharp with your bow and arrow.
Oh, I missed. It's annoying when, I don't know. I was out of focus. I wanted him to live, and my bow did not. Very off on the, and she says this term like it's something everyone knows, but it is not. She just made it up. Had my inside outside all wrong, you know? Try to keep that inner. Fucked it up.
I understand wanting to be made of sterner stuff than you're actually made of.
Right.
Squeamish or just a nice person?
Huh. Normally I would say neither, but I suppose the second. In this case. I mean, he's living. So maybe that's nice.
That is quite nice. Just make sure that when it's him or you always pick you.
Every time.
And I kind of just like walk in like a very easy silence with Deer after that, like coming to this understanding. And like we just kind of I imagine you sweep the area with me, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and glancing around, there's an occasional moment where you think you see someone, like, moving away, moving down the alley in a different direction. But nobody seems to be moving towards you or even, like, stalking you by any means. But you do see occasional movement as you're walking along here.
I'd say to the group, like, the wisdom of Lincoln evades me at this current moment. What could this woman and those possessed by this devilry want? Perhaps there could be some accord that could be reached, but if these violent means are their first means of interacting with us, I find that hard to be able to reach some sort of accord. What are of your minds? Perhaps a plan of some sort.
Well, this is the hard part, because if they're trying to hurt him because he's rich, well, I don't necessarily disagree with that.
True.
But I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that would benefit to see him put sideways.
The struggle
We could
between
take a
justice
second
and
deal.
coin. Apologies, sorry.
My apologies. I'm thinking we could take a second deal. They can give us something he can't.
And how can we force a parley with them? Perhaps coming in raises his hands, or...
Lila picks up the sickle. We say we dispatched one of their capable officers.
I like that. That could work.
Are you fine being dispatched, Devin?
What? Yeah, sure. What? Wait.
Oh, no, purely for jest, I assure you.
Okay, we're almost there.
We're not gonna kill him.
I look at Devin and I say, young man, do you know a man called Richard Nash? Does that name mean anything to you?
Nash. And he kind of sits there for a minute. He's like, oh, yeah. Nash was the one that. I mean, we learn about him. Nash was the one that ordered all those murders, right? To the protesters. Yeah, I've heard of him. Sounds like an asshole.
Indeed.
I look around at like the faces of everybody else to see like if any of you knew, because this is news to Lenora.
I think I knew. Seems like something she would know. Cool.
Yeah. Player discretion.
Okay, cool.
Forgive me, champagne goes right to my head.
You've had champagne?
I did.
What does it taste like?
It tastes like heaven with bubbles. Light, a little sweet. If you get a good job, you'll be able to try some.
Seems to like take that to like he files that away. You can tell. And there's like this, if I get a good job, I can share champagne. And
Right into the same hole I'm in.
yeah.
There's plenty of room down here, son.
As we're walking, I would like to do a lore religion check to see if there's anything, I don't know, from any religions or any sort of stuffs involved with all of this. It's sort of a long shot, but wanted to see if...
Sure, make that roll.
Okay, so that's a 18.
I would definitely say it's kind of a non-answer in the sense of Jack's Lanterns. They don't follow a religion per se, but you do know that they wear this mask, this like jack-o'-lantern mask, to honor Rebellion Jack from Jack's rebellion long ago. They wear that mask to honor him and to protect the scum of the city, so to speak, from the city's elite when they wander out of their parties a little too drunk and decide no one's gonna miss this person, or no one's gonna care if I beat the shit out of this person. Like, it's there is definitely like a code of honor there, but it's not a religion necessarily. It's more of something you've probably heard of because it is like a set of morals. But
I would say this has sparked some other idea. I would be like, if I may, for a moment, it seems as if Lincoln has sent to grant me some wisdom. Perhaps we should perhaps this would require a little bit more tact, and I'll hold up the mask. Perhaps we should gather a little bit of information before we decide to make any rash decisions, if you catch my meaning.
You want to send in a fake lantern?
Perhaps we all should be fake lanterns.
Oh.
I'm sure, I mean, these masks are aplenty in New Orleans, are they not? At this time of year. Perhaps we could, and he does this little walking thing with his fingers. Just walk right in. Perhaps gauge the enemy or future ally, perhaps, and before we make any decisions. What would say you?
I can
That's
see
the
myself doing that.
smartest.
I suppose it could work.
That's the smartest and most succinct I've heard you.
Ah, thank you. It comes and it goes, you know.
Well, I have something of a skill set with disguises. Once we find the masks, I believe we just have to look basic. Right? There's no like sash or like badge or anything that they have to wear.
Yeah, it just seems like very, very tattered clothing.
Turn Devin around. I don't think so.
Look, there it
Yes.
is. I'm gonna go now. It looks like he pauses for a moment, like he's about to say, like, it was nice to meet you, or something, but you see it just paused and then, yeah, goodbye, and just
Alright.
turns and starts kind of limping away.
May the forefathers guide your path.
What? I gotta go.
Indeed.
Have fun.
You too.
Is this within 2 minutes of when I use telepathy on him?
Sure.
In his head, he hears, "She lied to you. Champagne tastes like ass. It's not worth it."
You see, as he's walking away, jumps, kind of like stumbles over, hits like the side of the building, glances back. His eyes are wide and he's just looking. And then he, like, the words finally register. And you just see him go, and just turn and continue on. Like, I don't know what the fuck that was, but.
No senses about you, boy. Come on, come now.
It's fine.
A warning before you do that.
No.
Okay, so we're stealing 4 masks.
Walk up behind someone and just like poke them on the shoulder, and they're like, "Huh?" And I'm like, "I need your mask." Oh, you fell. And then I take the mask and then just walk off.
I wait, like I kind of like chill and I try to see if anybody's taking a break. Walk by and just like flip it from like one hand around my back to the other so I have it under my arm.
Walk up to somebody literally in the dark and say, "You want to see a trick?" And then I put my leg behind my neck and steal the mask and run away.
Reaches into her pocket where the bugs were earlier and kind of like releases like a handful of just like spiders and beetles and waits until they skitter onto their face and like freak them out until they rip the mask off themselves. Thanks. And picks it up and walks away.
Now the 4 of you stand in front of this warehouse holding your masks, kind of probably placing them on. What would you like to do?
After you. I gesture towards everyone but me.
do
Watch.
do
I think you should lead us in the wisdom of what was it? Rosenbaum? The
Lincoln, the
truth
wisdom of
of
Lincoln, the tenacity of
Washboard.
Roosevelt, the
Wash.
truth of Washington, and the musicality.
I don't need to hear all of them. You should go in first though.
Okay. All right. Sure thing. Do I walk normal? And he's just like, sort of is like thinking way too much. He's like, I feel like I need something in my hands right now.
Oh my god.
Something
She I think she's used to people psyching themselves out all the time. You've got a terrible case of stage fright.
I've never been on one before.
You need to, it's gonna be fun. You need
Okay.
to calm your outside inside. You know what I mean? You need to relax.
My what?
Calm on the inside, calm on the outside. Look at the sky. This guy's not doing anything.
No.
Be
it's
like
just
that
dark.
in here. Yes,
Okay.
dark and
Darkness,
quiet.
well,
Dark and quiet. Here's this to hang on to. It's fully a blow dart. This is what, just something to focus your energy. Quiet
Okay.
and dark. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank you.
I believe in you. Good. Pat, pat. Turn around.
Start walking, holding the blow dart right in front of me.
Oh, that's
Fantastic.
I guess
Baby
I
steps.
my hands feel normal now. And I start walking through the front door, holding the
Okay.
blow dart right in front of me.
As you are heading in, Lenora can hear some of this. You're like catching bits and pieces. It makes sense that Lila can hear a little bit more of it as well. As you're heading in, there seems to be just like this long... It wasn't a hallway. It's like there were boxes placed to make it a hallway to kind of block off the rest of the warehouse from you. And as you're heading in, you're noticing the ceilings, they stretch pretty high, and you're not seeing any windows. You see shades of browns and blues, and it's dark, and it gives a little glimmer of moonlight, even though there are no windows in here. There's a soft haze that floats around like dust particles in the sun. But they're black and blue, like little black and blue specks. Nothing bright about them. They float through the air almost as if underwater. But there's a tense stillness to the room that causes the hairs on the back of your neck to feel the same way, kind of like standing up on high alert. As you're walking in, something just feels very wrong. And Lila, you hear a familiar voice. You hear Reginald Nash, and he sounds like he's blubbering, like just crying. And you just hear him say, "Let me go, you crazy!" And then he stops, and you hear another familiar voice of the woman, "Crazy what?" And there's a pause, and then you hear him just like say with the most distaste he can possibly have, "Witch." And she laughs. You hear her laugh, and she says, "See, that's not the insult you think it is, Mr. Nash. You've made it up to the point where, if you would like, you can peek around the boxes into the warehouse. But I'll give you a moment as the four of you kind of reach that point. What would you like to do?"
I'd like to just use my assess skill to see if there's other Lantern Jack people in here, try to see what they're doing and how they're like feeling, I guess, and try to mimic that, I guess, or at least try to get that information first. So I'd be like, okay, so they're just standing by the wall, they're acting like this, I'm trying to assess.
Okay, go ahead and make that roll. We'll say you're kind of peeking around the corner first to do that.
It's an 8.
Okay. Peeking around, you easily see the woman and Reginald Nash. You see Reginald is currently strapped to a table. And you see the woman. She stands there, making sure the straps are secure. She doesn't look back or seem to physically acknowledge your entrance in any way. You do see Jack's lanterns, at least 6 of them, standing around in the shadows of the warehouse.
Mhm.
Sickles are in their hands. A couple of them hold scythes. They don't seem to notice you entering or care. But as you're peeking around, Lila, in your head, you hear, "Come on in. But I do ask, let me explain before you do something reckless and get yourselves killed."
I'll respond back to her in my head. No one's being reckless here. I'm just curious mostly. And want to get paid. And he's kind of our paycheck, so if we can find an arrangement that we can all agree on, I'm not entirely tied to him staying alive.
And at this point, Martin, you've gathered all of that information and you can, like, come back from peeking around the corner.
My mask up and I mouth to them, he's on a table. And the ladies there, there's about 6 of the lanterns. So, yeah, that's what's going on. Mask back on.
I think y'all should know. She already knows we're here. She didn't get
Oh,
back
thank
at
God I
us.
can take this off.
Good, yeah, it's hot. I can't hear anything.
This plan sucked. I throw my mask
No,
down on
it
the
was-
ground.
It was a good plan. It's just
Very smart.
witches,
Broken back.
right?
It was a good plan, just witches.
Witches be witches, you know what I mean?
That we are.
Oh, yeah.
Go
Oh,
for it.
no, I was just gonna say we walk in.
Okay. She still doesn't, like, turn to acknowledge you. You get the feeling she knows you're walking in. And she's just talking out loud now. You're not sure if she's talking to Reginald Nash or if she's talking to you. But you hear her say, most people consider witches evil because they don't understand magic. So we're exiled, forced to live at the edges of societies while the terrified townsfolk crawl to you with pleas. Help my husband. Help my child. Make him fall in love with me. They pay us for their petty needs and shun us for it. And at this point, she does kind of not look back at you, but you see her kind of turn her head, like acknowledging you. Witches and warlocks alike turn spiteful by it, but not me. My spite comes from a much more personal stake. And she looks over at Reginald Nash, tied to the table with distaste on her face. I offered you an explanation, and she kind of walks, and you see there are some, like, chains hanging from parts of the ceiling, and she's just kind of, like, running her fingers along the chains for a moment as she's walking by, and then she pulls one of them, and you just watch the table kind of flip up quickly. It hangs Reginald Nash upside down. He's yelling and screaming, and he's like, please! He's finally noticed you, and he's like, you gotta get me out of here! You can, please, she's crazy! And she turns to him. Will you calm down, please? The scum of your precious city are talking right now. She turns back to you, while pacing over toward another table, seemingly absent-mindedly. Were you around during Jack's rebellion? And for the first time, she looks and acknowledges the 4 of you.
I don't believe I was not.
I'm 40. Would I know? Like, I've lived here my whole life, so.
You've probably heard... You've grown up with, like, first-hand stories.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I was, you see. And she runs her fingers across what are clinking, and you realize are blades that sit on another one of these tables. Not grabbing any, just kind of letting her fingertips graze across them. You hear them clank. I was there to see the working class citizens decide to take no more of the abuse and unfair wages. I was there to see Jack rise up as the leader to protest. For fair wages, that's all they were asking for. She seems to have decided on a blade, and she picks it up. You hear, like, the shing as it comes up off the counter. And this man, and she just points to him with the blade, turning back to him, gave a massacre order. And at these words, he's crying again. He sees the blade. His face is turning red. You're not sure if it's from the crying or from the hanging upside down. Tell them exactly what you said, Mr. Nash? Or have you said it so many times you can't remember? Come on. Out with it. He stutters and stammers for a moment. He's looking up to all of you with desperation. You can see the tears spilling down, like, into his hair at this point. I said kill them all except for Jack. Bring him to me alive. Please, I'm sorry, please let me down. Just do what I paid you for. Get me out of here. And then you see her hold up her hand, and he's still shouting, but he's not making any noise.
God,
And-
she's so hot.
It's really
I mean,
impressive.
really.
I
yes.
thought I was muted.
Incredibly-
No, I think we're talking care. Like, yeah, she's
I love
He's like,
no,
"Hey."
that
I
was
mean-
like Lila's telepathy, but just said out loud.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit. was that?
I definitely
I
meant
thought
to
that was
just
in my head.
telepathy that to deer, but instead it's just out loud.
Good.
Like,
You're not wrong.
Amazing.
come on, we're talking to the.
Uh,
Come on.
And she
Negotiation.
says, and they did. They massacred every protester on that street, hunted down the ones that ran away, killed the ones that shouted, "I'm sorry, and please let me go." And they captured Rebellion Jack, who was swiftly delivered to Reginald Nash's doorstep. Now, I will save you the details of the brutality and sum it up by saying it left many scars. Scars that took decades to get rid of, but there is one wound that never quite healed. You see, when Mr. Nash took off Rebellion Jack's mask and saw my face underneath it, he decided that once he was finished beating me nearly to death, he'd toss me in the swamp. Let the night take me because he was too weak and cowardice to do it himself. He is bawling at this point. Tears are dripping off his hair onto the floor, and he's like, "Please, no, please, listen. Something happened to me that night in the swamp, Reginald. Something changed me. The night didn't take me, but the earth sure did. It soaked into my wounds, it soaked into my bones, and it healed me. The swamp you threw me into saved my life, and look at me now. Decades later, and you've gotten a whole lot older, but I'm still the same fragile woman you threw into that swamp. Well, maybe a little less fragile." She's walking up to Reginald now, and she crouches down to be almost eye level with him. She looks at the blade in her hands, and then she looks up to all of you with sincerity in her face. She's looking at you not like you've been looked at all night. She's looking at you as equals. And she says, "I am going to kill this man. You can try to stop me. That's what you're here for. I understand. We all need paychecks. I understand it's nothing personal, but if you get in my way, I will have to kill you too. Or you can turn around and you can walk away. Sure, I'm sure this was a fine paycheck." And she looks down at Reginald Nash again. It'll hurt your wallets for a while, I'm sure. But you could go. Maybe even enjoy a late night parade. Your choice. And she just looks at all of you.
Can he hear us right now?
Yeah.
With his... He can. Then in her head she hears... Does it have to be tonight?
You see her glance over toward another corner of the warehouse. It's dark over there. You see some things maybe covered in like tarps. Yeah, unfortunately it does.
Here's the thing. I really don't care if he lives or dies. Sorry, Reggie, but is there anything that we can do about the discrepancy? I mean, the money is good too, but like we all mentioned earlier, it's a matter of what's the word? The way that people think about you when you're not in the room. Reputation. Thank you. What do we do about that? Because I don't fail. And obviously neither do you. And I don't think any of that should change.
Your cause sounds just. And I believe in justice, but I do not believe in justice this way. Perhaps there is some sort of accord that we could reach. There was an old saying back before the fall. An eye for an eye. But I believe that leaves the whole world blind. You cannot get justice by doing what they did to you. Perhaps we can come to an understanding. Please.
You see a small smile. Oh, honey. This isn't justice. This is revenge.
I'm sorry.
As for your reputations, perhaps something can be arranged.
As far as I'm concerned, my job was to make sure Mr. Nash here enjoyed himself at that fete, that he had a nice time, got to be seen and be safe at this party, and left in one piece. It looks like my job is done, as long as you and I have a little bit of an understanding. He's clearly not going to need all his riches after this night, if this is in fact revenge. So, perhaps in exchange for my silence, a divvy up of my money, my reward for doing this job. And perhaps a tip from you? No?
He's still blubbering and crying, but she has her hand up again so that you can't hear him. Those of you who turn your backs right now, walk out of here, head back to the party. You'll be, and she seems to pause for a second, compensated.
If no one finds the body.
Oh, they'll find the body.
Oh,
I
is
told
that
you, we
part of
have a
what you
parade.
want? I see.
Scarecrow sort of ordeal.
That's impressive. I thought controlling people would be a whole lot harder than just messing with their brains.
People act all sorts of ways when they're confused.
That's fair.
I would
gotta teach
love-
me how to do that.
I would love to chat. But
Okay, we gotta figure this out first, but
the clock is ticking, and she
right.
kind of holds up the blade and puts it to Reginald's neck. I'm gonna need a decision here.
But what of true justice? What of... I know you speak of revenge, but killing? That is so quick. That is not... Would you not want to see things change? One life taken, that means nothing. What if he were to pay for it? What if there is a judgment before him, some law? Things change. You started this rebellion to change the working conditions. Can we not change
You
them?
think- You think we put this man before a council? What council? People like him.
Judgment always gets handed down from the rich and powerful, and they will not bury their own.
We have to try.
You're standing on a ground that's wet with blood from people trying. I admire your commitment to a sense of politeness, but I don't think that's going to be it. We need to figure out how much we're ready to get away with. And personally, I don't care if your business continues. I just need something on my end. Is that going to be difficult for anyone here? And she looks at Martin reluctantly.
Lenora, if you all look around, she is next to the door.
Yeah.
Kind of leaning against the door. She's taken out her pipe and she's having a good puff, watching the rest of you young ones make up your mind and decide what you want to do. She has an imperfect record, but it doesn't stop her from getting jobs. And she looks none too worried about this situation. She's good. She's just waiting.
Look,
Will
I
he be the only
understand.
one that is hurt? What of the others in the town, the ones that you possessed? What of these? These innocents? What of them?
these people wear these masks by their own choice. They want to defend this scum, and kind of like looks down at Reginald, from assholes like these. I was just rallying them toward my cause.
One that benefits them also, no doubt. In the long run.
Oh, I'm sure none of them will be sad to see Reginald Nash gone.
Well, here's the one thing I don't understand. We get Reggie, right? He's gone, but there was a whole room full of people that have no problem continuing what he started. And he no doubt has a chain of command in case something terrible happens to him.
Oh,
What
I'm
if-
certain he does, and she glances down. But I will assure you, Reginald Nash is the last surviving member of those that ordered the execution. So it may not lead to a change, but it's a start.
I think my position's fairly clear. And I don't turn my back on her or go to the door. I kind of go to her side.
Do you know of the Chalice of Providence?
I'm sorry, the what?
The Chalice of Providence, the famous relic, the cup that caught George Washington's blood after the fall. It is a relic of great importance to my path. I hear that it is hidden somewhere around here. Perhaps one who was thrown in the swamp, I make a gesture, might be familiar of its location, perhaps?
In her head, she hears via telepathy. Even if it's horseshit, which I'm 90% positive it is, please don't break his heart. He's a dumbass, but he's our dumbass apparently now.
There's a moment where she's going to answer you, and then she stops. And she appears to be thinking for a moment. Really, she's listening to Lila's words.
My eyes are like lighting up. This is the first thing. Come on, you got this, Martin.
I think you're looking in the right place. Please get
totally. Okay.
Okay, well,
out. Look away if you're squeamish.
Bye, Lila. Turn around. You kids have fun, okay?
no, hold on. You're just gonna stay here? I thought we were going back to the party.
She knows so much, though.
I shan't be returning to the party. Without our host, he went home, and so shall we. Or to the parade, perhaps.
Dear, you could stay too. We could... I don't know, it's a new adventure, and... You've been my best friend, and I don't want to lose you.
I don't want to leave, but I don't... This is a clean break. I'm not affiliated with this woman, and I... Honestly... What if... I mean, yeah, you're gonna burn a church down or whatever, but what if she has you doing something else that just... I don't know. It's just... I can't see all of it. But it makes me nervous, and I...
What if I see for the both of us? You know I got pretty good eyesight.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make you stay if you don't want to. But the offer's there.
Shit.
I think this is my path.
Shit. The path is so important to your outside, inside. Like the whole thing.
I know. I'm making your life real hard. And
Yeah.
I've got both her hands in my hands. And I'm kind of swinging them. I know you have your dreams too, and I don't want to get in the way of that.
Jack. And she calls the lady.
My name is Alice, actually. Common misconception.
Alice. us. How big is that float?
About 6 bodies worth. But trust me when I say you don't want to be affiliated with this parade.
Thought so. Well. And she stops swinging your hands and puts them on your shoulders. I'll be here as long as you are, but I won't be with you for this. Now, if you learn something incredible and want to go on the road again, or, I don't know, need someone to stay with you for a night, but this isn't good business. I want you to find your outside inside, but I want to find mine too.
I'll learn, and then I'll find you, okay? And maybe we can. I don't know. Maybe we can make a new act, you and me.
Exactly.
Okay. And I reach into my last pocket that I haven't reached into, and I pull out all the gold I have, or the money I have. What is it called? The coin I have. There
Credit?
it is.
Yeah.
All the coin I have, which is hilariously 666 coin. And I put it into Deer's hands. Find us someplace cool. Someplace real nice.
I can do that. Good. Stay safe, please. She hugs Lila. Goes by the door.
Lenora, Martin, and Deer all exit.
Yeah, on the way out, like I do like a very solemn kind of like heart and wave to Lila, and I look to Deer. You know, Sha, you always have a place with me if you want it. We could do more jobs. I have enough reputation for the both of us.
Yeah. I think that'd be good. The busier the better.
That's what I always say.
Turn around. How about a trial by combat? You seem more skilled than him, and either would be an easy fight, but more just. What say you, Alice? The fathers watch us all. I know you don't care about that, but it is a way of life.
I'm gonna say you're by the door, so you're kind of like walking to peek around the box again, but you're not quite looking at her yet, but you can hear the like impatientness, however you would say that, in her voice.
For a better world, you just
Trial by combat for a better.
She says,
think about it.
She says, this man beat me nearly to death, threw me into a swamp to die.
All right, put it that way. All right. Just going with my conscience here. I just walk out.
Sorry, Martin.
You know, it's fine.
It's okay.
She's still crouched down at this
My
point,
code.
and she looks up to you, Lila, and she says, "You sure you want to be here?"
I got my own revenge mission, and I would love a first glance at what I'm in for.
You sure you want to see this? And she looks down. You don't have to watch.
I don't fear the blood of men.
And at that, the camera cuts to black. Martin, Lenora, and Deer, as you're walking through the streets, you hear the sound of wheels on pavement, on dirt. And as you are glancing around, you see the beginning of some sort of wagon, some sort of float. And as the three of you kind of draw your attention to it and watch, you see it's not drawn by anything. There are no horses pulling it. It's just moving on its own, but you hear it playing music, drawing attention. The music's getting louder and louder and louder. And as it passes by, out of the way of a building blocking it, you see the people, the bodies arranged on the float. You see them all standing on what looks to be like some sort of art piece. It looks like an art piece. Like, it is very poorly made stick figures. People all bundled together, and you see these 6 bodies stand on top of them as if having conquered a mountain. But these bodies, their skin is gray, pale, bloodless, stuffed. You see various rods sticking in places to keep them standing up. You see mouths slack, eyes glazed over, eyes missing. You hear the cawing of crows accompanying the music. And as it goes by, you hear the people at the ballroom beginning to notice. You hear the screams, and you see Jack's lanterns standing all around, finally of their own action. You see them walking, looking at this float, same as all of you, looking with like a mix of horror and an odd sense of, ironically enough, justice. They watch calmly as the elite scream and run and drunkenly stumble back toward their homes where they can shut and lock their doors. But the only thing they're afraid of, their own sins, their own guilt, their own kind. Lenora, you stick your hand in your pocket. There's a piece of paper that wasn't there before. It's like a scroll, it feels like. You pull it out and you open it up, and as it's unraveling, it looks like it's being written. It takes you a little while to realize what it is. It's the deed to Reginald Nash's estate.
Hey girl, yeah.
No.
Yas.
I look at it very pleased. I imagine that Deer is with me still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I unfurl it, and as I'm reading it, I kind of read it quietly but aloud. And I say, pack your bags, my dear. We have some relocating to do.
Oh my god, okay. Shit. Yeah. And she starts immediately thinking, move. What is it? Are we gonna leave it as a house? We could do anything with it. It could be anything. Oh, it's your house. It's in your pocket. It was your pocket paper.
And at this point, you both see Martin walking up, clearly still having this internal struggle inside of his mind of whether or not he's doing the right thing.
Martin, I know that you are experiencing great emotional turmoil right now. All good people would. I think perhaps you must consider the weight of the Founding Fathers. They were not above justice. They were not above revenge. They were not above moving on when perhaps it was not them who was on the wrong end of a bayonet. Perhaps that is also your calling. You are mostly a very good man. Always a very good man, honest. The Founding Fathers would be proud. And if for some reason you cannot sleep at night, remember, Halloween is all about tricks and treats. The elites this time, well, they've had the tricks. But the common folk, we will always have the treats.
In a house.
And a house.
A house, you say? Oh, cool.
And I feel like this conversation is happening as you're kind of like moving down the street and the camera is like pulling away a little bit. And I want to cut into some epilogue scenes.
Lenora keeps working. That's kind of the way that she has managed to kind of cope with her reality for so long. It's just what she does. But she's this kind of freedom has allowed her to elevate herself. She begins selling her paintings to people, and they actually pay attention because of the illusion that she has this money because of the estate. She welcomes people who, don't have homes, or people she finds in the street to come and stay and rehabilitate themselves until they're ready to go back out into society. She tries to do as much good with this as she can. And hanging above the fireplace is a beautiful painting of Alice surrounded by various jack-o'-lanterns.
I would say I was going to, even though Lenore has already done this, I was going to be like, yeah, we should, this is a lot of space. We should bring in people who, need this. But you're, already doing it. So I'm like, this is dope. Great. I have, a very small room, probably, like a cupboard, basically, is where I put, my bed. Yeah, Martin doesn't really need much. He's out most of the time. But he's good at fighting. He's not very good at the whole thinking of ways to help better society. So I think he'd probably look towards Lenora and Deer and others for, what can I do to break down barriers to help those that need it behind me? So he will just sort of take the direction from them and will... if Alice is still around, or if not, he will still search for other, explorers or guides for the bog to search for the Chalice of Providence. And he will continue that, while indeed trying to make the same positive changes as Lenora. Because this is basically a sort of the government's kind of structured like medieval feudalism, isn't it? So basically we have a royal house now, so we can maybe start doing some things, start making some changes, because it's a city.
Yeah, your status is suddenly much higher.
Do I find the Chalice of Providence?
I will tell you in a minute.
Okay, no, I will go, but I want to know if you find the chalice. Yeah, I think Deer is helping set up this space. It's very much quickly becoming this is where all the freaks go. If you are an artist, if you need help, this is the house. So she immediately finds the two biggest rooms and starts decorating hers, and it's full of aerialist shit and way too many costumes. Just that she can't perform in all of them in her lifetime, but they're there. And then the other room is set up for when Lila comes back, and is they only had an act together where she shot her in the chest, so it's definitely not religious shit, right? So just like other things. If things look particularly but still like stained glass. So like full stained glass windows or those like wind chimes and like beautiful things like that where the light really dances around the room. That is set just in case. Um, but I think she also helps in the founding fathers exercise and teaches archery to the squires because that's happening in the backyard and she's going to be shooting in the backyard too.
I'm so excited.
Yes,
We have a guest instructor today.
who lives upstairs.
Yes. Listen very closely, all of you.
Yes, well,
Incredible.
It's confusing because she fires the bow and arrow with her feet. So there's a learning curve, but we'll
Just
get
do
them.
that, but with your hands.
Yes, right.
I don't know how to show you to aim with your hands. I can only aim with my feet. I'm
sorry.
don't know.
They'll get it. They'll get it.
Get good, I guess.
Be better.
Okay. Now we are going to cut back to shortly after the parade was sent out. Lila, you are standing with Alice in a now empty warehouse. Blood stains the floor. Hay sticks to parts. Some's probably stuck to your shoes. And Alice is just looking at you, wondering what the hell you're doing here.
I thought I was led to you for a reason. Or you were led to me for a reason. I don't know how to do all the things you do. I'm self-taught mostly, and I was locked in a room for 6 years. So I really, I want to learn from you. How do I get stronger?
What can you do?
You got a gun?
No, but you do.
I do. I hand it to her. I go and stand like 20 paces away. Shoot me.
There's a moment where she looks like sincerely impressed and then holds up the gun and fires.
It hits me, and I don't take the damage I should take. I'm still hurt for sure, but the amount of damage I should take is severely less. And as she watches, my body starts to push the bullet out of itself until it clinks onto the ground, covered in my blood.
I think she has like slowly taken steps toward you, and as it falls out, she catches it. And kind of like looks at it for a moment, then holds out the gun for you to hold.
Take it.
You take it. She takes a couple steps back, and you see she squeezes the bullet in her hand, and you see her fingers start to bleed. And as they bleed, it starts to drip down her hand, and then you see her snap. And as soon as she does, the blood turns to mist and immediately flies towards the gun in your hand. And you watch as all of these little specks of blood hit the gun. They start eating away at the metal like acid. It's almost like rusting the gun around your hand.
You gotta teach me how to do that.
Well, let's get started.
It's back in the wastes. There's a cross kind of hammered into the ground. And it's just got the initials J-O on it. And you pull back and look at Lila. She's staring down at the grave. He died before I could even fucking kill him. Can you believe that? He died before I got to burn his church down with him in it. What the fuck is up with that? What do I do, Alice? All my whole thing has been fucking revenge, and now I don't even get that. What do I do?
I know this isn't gonna help, really. But I got my revenge, and it didn't change what happened to me. I mean, it made me feel better, yeah, it did, but... Perhaps power is your revenge.
Oh, why'd you say it like that? God damn it. That's so much cooler than what I was gonna do. I was gonna burn all the fucking prayer books in that stupid church and start growing it over with like moss and shit. That's so much better. Fuck. And then the next thing that happens is there's a knock on the front door of the house.
Yeah, I think there's a little scene of like the door opening and everyone just being, excited to see Lila coming in, kind of like everybody talking over each other, everybody talking at once, and then you hear the clunk of the boots as Alice is also walking in, because Lila and Alice are returning with some news. Alice looks to you, Martin, and she says, I think I found your chalice.
Huh!
And boy, is there more to it than you thought.
What?
And that
I run.
is
Tell me where it is.
ending the session.
We want see
Let's now able to do more things. Yes. Anytime we want to get Liberty's kids together, let's go.
Let's do it.
Liberty's kids.
Liberty's
fucking what we
Yes.
are, baby.
Yeah,
Bastards of Liberty.
yeah, that's it.
Honestly, Bastards of Liberty
I
slaps.
love that.
That's pretty cool.
Can we get a shirt?
You enjoy it, thankfully. I think, Allegra. I don't know. You keep coming back, so I assume that you enjoy it.
I'm fucking miserable. Look at me.
It's fine, I guess.
Fade.
Sick.
But
Harry, I put on makeup and a dress for you. Are you kidding me?
Yes, Dungeons and Bayonets. Sure.
Ugh.
Bayonets and ball bearings.
Dysentery and dragons.
Yes.
that was amazing. That was, oh man, editing this, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck was wrong with us?
There's a weird Revolutionary War section. I
So
hope
your actual
Washington-
called Washington?
Yes.
Is it related to you or?
No, actually. We're actually given, sort of the names that you most closely aspire to from the forefathers. So we chose Washington, so that is my chosen name. Ezekiel Martin, my given, and Washington, my chosen.
Oh.
Oh, so Martin was your last name.
Yes. Adam hasn't thought that much about it, so yes, it was. Let's have that be it.
Amazing. Okay.
Do we need to use Benjamin Franklin? I pull out a very fat pigeon from my vest.
You just had a
That's
bird?
What the fuck
giant
is that?
and it has 2 extra wings. Should we need to use Benjamin Franklin, or no? Is this just a comedic relief that we're just never gonna see again? Nope. Okay.
No.
All right.
No,
Back in the
No,
pocket.
wait, bring it back.
we're gonna use it. I don't know what for, but you've introduced it now.
We can send a message. It is a messenger pigeon. You see
I
a
can
really
also
fat
send a
pigeon
message.
where it's basically its neck is just like into its big old fat. I rolled for it in the book. This is something you can do where you can roll for animal companions, and then since this is after an apocalypse, you can roll for weird things. So I rolled twice, and one was immense and extra limbs. So I have an immense pigeon with extra limbs.
Horrifying.
But I don't want to ruin the
Terrible.
tone, so I will put it back into my vest.
Wait. Lila reaches in one of her pockets and pulls out like a sizable beetle that is still living.
Ah.
We
Can I-
all
can I
have
feed him?
some
Oh, of
things.
course. Yeah. Benny, come. The nice lady's going to feed you a beetle.
Here you go, Benny.
Yes, can you say thank you? Oh, yeah, he likes it.
I will say when a pigeon's that puffed up, it usually means they're either very cold or extremely aroused. So I would just sort of look into that a little bit.
I
It is
mean, it's
very
chilly out
cold
tonight.
outside. Yes.
We hope that's what it is. Otherwise, oh, all right. You know
I
what?
featured another beetle out of my pocket.
Oh, yes, again.
I got earthworms too. Does it like earthworms?
Honestly, I don't know what to feed this guy. He just kind of does what he wants. So I mean, if you have some stuff,
I
it'd
pull
be
out
good for
like
me
a
to
handful
know.
of.
How
I
much?
put like a handful of dirt and earthworms and I stick it in your like breast pocket.
Oh, thank you very much.
This is me trying to decide if this is a part of the story or what's happening right now.
Put it at the
How did we
end. That's
get
where it
there?
goes.